Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? You ready for this season to be almost over?
Well, that's why I'm wearing blue, Ted, because I'm blue. But at the same time, I'm seeing red. So you can see I've got all the gamuts of the colors here. I'm blue that the season is over, but I'm red because of how the season ended up, if that makes sense. But to make a long story short, yes, let's get this thing out of here like 2025 and start the 2026 year new. What about you, man?
I can't wait for the season to be done, man, which it pains me, right? Because in a couple of, maybe a month or two, we'll be just kind of dying for football again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've got DC Defenders season tickets and they're defending champion, but it's not the same. Doesn't even come close. Nothing comes close to the NFL, right? And but right now, I was looking at my FanDuel bets that are not settled yet, and like Jayden Daniels, MVP, Dan Quinn, Coach of the Year, Commanders to win the NFC East. Thinking, all right, that's a loser. That's a loser. Like, can you just take it off my list now? Because we ain't winning the East. Jayden's not getting MVP. DQ would definitely ain't getting Coach of the Year. Some people think he's on the hot seat and should be gone. Right? Not us, but it's just word around out there. So 25 was frustrating, man. And I know for those wondering, it's the 30th right now. So New Year's Eve. And I cannot wait until 2026 comes around. More importantly, football 2026, and we still got a ways for that to go. But yeah, I'm feeling right there with you, man. Definitely blue. But is that a Wizards hat? Because there's no way that's a Commander's hat.
Yeah, it's a Wizards hat.
Okay. All right. It's tough to see on the Zoom screen. I'm sitting there looking at it like, I know my eyes are going bad-ish, but okay. I was going to ask Meta what the hell that was in your head. But man, we didn't do a show after the Cowboys game because obviously that game was on Christmas, and then it was a Friday after Christmas and spending time with the family for the holidays. But a couple of takeaways from that game. I'm proud of the fans that showed up. Right, we had more people than I expected out there. There were more fans than I expected in the stadium, considering, and I think the weather helped out with that. I mean, what was your perception walking around that day?
Well, I knew that I was going to see a lot of blue and silver. I mean, we already talked about it. It's Christmas. You got a lot of people who decided when the schedule came out, hey, we're going to make this my family's Christmas gift coming to the nation's capital. So I knew that was going to happen. I got to tell you, I was happy that fans did show up, and it was a pretty good game on top of that. So, I said in my live on Facebook, it's very hard to win with a third string quarterback, no matter what team you play for. It's just not our team. It's any NFL team. Josh Johnson came out and gave it the old, 2016 try. I think he's been on.
Dude is old, right?
I think he's been on 20 some odd teams, but he gave it his best shot. And I think that truthfully, we may see, I'm going to speed up a little bit. We may see a better Josh Johnson against the Eagles than we did against the Cowboys because he's getting first string reps, and he's got the playbook a little bit better underneath his belt. And what he got to lose? Ball out, baby.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised with Josh, right? When I was telling you the topics before the show, you're like, he did well. I was like, well, I expected Josh to just poop the bed, right? When we went down, what was it? Was it 21-3? I don't even remember, right? I'm sitting there in the stands and I see people leaving, and it is maybe the second quarter. Like, and I don't blame them. Who wants to spend their Christmas day like that to get blown out by the Cowboys? But they actually made it interesting. They made it, I don't want to say a game, but we were within reach of that game, right? Towards the end, and we only lost by 7. And I appreciate them making it competitive. It could have been like the Seahawks game all over again, or the Vikings game where we just got completely shut down. And I don't think anyone would have given a hard time about that, considering, right, like you said, we're on our third quarterback. Mariota is out, or was out that game, and odds are he's going to be out this week. I mean, he's got
Probably.
stitches on his hand. This is DQ talking about Marcus.
What is the chances of Marcus playing in the final game?
Yeah, Nikki, he wasn't ready today to participate. Like we had a very light jog through, so he wasn't to that spot yet. So until it gets to full speed and can really cut and stop and start, that's when we would say. So I'll have a better sense when I visit with you on Wednesday, and if he's able to, resume the type of movements that we had. But as it was today, it'd been a stretch to get there. But I'm hopeful, as I have for a few days, to see what it could look like, and if he could really be himself, then he'd have a real shot at it. But I don't know that today.
So this is what doesn't make sense to me about DQ's comment. I thought he wasn't playing because he's got the stitches on his hand and his hand is swollen. So I don't know what cutting and all that stuff has to do with the guy not being able to throw the ball. I think DQ was ready for the season to end, and he thought that they were asking him about a different player. But I mean,
the other Marcus.
Yeah. And Tyler Biotis isn't going to play this week, right? Tunsil isn't going to play this week. Cosme isn't going to play this week. So that is 3 of your 5 starting offensive linemen that are out. So really, and we talked about in the last show, DQ said we're going to see those guys in 2 weeks. The same players aren't going to be there from, 2 weeks ago to this week. So, and one of my debates and questions, and this kind of came up on the Junkies listening to them, and I asked JP Finley and Steve Zabin this on JP show when Zabe was filling in for B. Mitch. Valdez brought up the fact, and those that don't know, Valdez is one of the producers for the Sports Junkies on 106.7 The Fan. Why keep Marcus Mariota? Why not just keep Josh Johnson? Because Mariota is making $8 million this year. And as a starter, he's 1-5 is his record. He hasn't lit the world on fire. Next year, just like everything, price goes up. So odds are he's going to make, I'd say, maybe around $10 million next year. Assuming Mariota wants to stay and he doesn't go to some other team as a starter, like Minnesota could use a starter, or, Atlanta maybe, or some other teams. Do you want them to pay him that money, knowing what we've seen from him over the past 2 years? Or do you want them to go with a cheaper second string quarterback? Then they can invest that money into possibly another position.
Well, first off, let me say this. My hat goes off to Marcus. I don't think that there's a team that's going to put him in a starting position. I think that ship has sailed. I love Marcus. I'm just looking at the body of work that he said. I don't believe that there is a team that would give him an opportunity to be the starting quarterback. I think they've seen enough work from him to say, at best, you're going to be our backup. So with that being said, does he want to stay? That's the big question. I'd love to have him. But at the same time, if we're talking, dollars and cents, you might want to look at going with a younger quarterback. Even Josh Johnson, a younger quarterback. Hell, even Sam Hartman, another quarterback, because he hasn't played for whatever reason. I don't know. He hasn't played. I mean, if it means bringing a kid who did they just bring from Arizona
Driscoll.
up here? Driscoll.
Yeah.
If it means he's the backup now, let it ride. At this juncture, I have no true answers about this team. I really don't. Everywhere where I thought we were going to shine, we haven't. And I know that injury plays a lot into it. And no matter what, this is my squad. So for everybody that's listening, no, I'm not wavering at all. I just don't know where we go from here, Ted. I really don't. Now, do I have faith that they will figure it out? Yes, I have faith that they will, some shape, form, fashion, figure it out. We've got a whole off season, whether it's throw money at somebody, a lot of people that is, because we can't just throw money at one person. We've got to freaking throw a hand grenade, and it's got to disperse to a lot of different places. So that's the question.
Injuries are a huge part of it, right? Nikki Javala put out a tweet on Christmas 30 players missed a total of 140 games. Right? Just let that part sink
Can't win
in.
like that.
But I think part of the problem is roster construction. Right? Noah Brown missed 12 games. You never should have counted on Noah Brown. Right? And I'm not saying pay De'Ami Brown or pay OZ all that money, but you never should have counted on Noah Brown to play all those games. Austin Eckler missed 14 games, went on IR with an Achilles. Austin has not played a full season in quite a long time, right? Dietrich Wise missed 14. Okay, that's kind of a fluke thing. Javonte Jean-Baptiste missed 12. Right? You've got guys that have missed games, but we're not the only team in the NFL that's injured. I think part of the problem is we had a roster that, when healthy, can compete with anybody. But when not healthy, our true depth showed that the cupboard was bare, that they were just turning lipstick, putting lipstick on a pig last year with Jayden. And that young man is so special that he could make a subpar roster look amazing. Well, he's gone. Jayden missed 8 games with his knee, his hamstring, and his elbow. And guess what? That roster, all the warts are there front and center. You can see everything. And I think part of that is, right, we went all in after being 4 quarters from the Super Bowl, but we didn't address the depth problems that we've had since before Rivera was here. And we mortgage a future to bring in guys like Tunsil, to bring in guys like Lattimore, and that recalibration that they talked about last season. If Jayden's hurt, it's a rebuild. It's not a recalibration.
No, yeah.
That's what has me concerned about 2026 right now.
Well, Ted, as I said earlier, where are you going to put your money? Or where are they going to put their money? What are they eyeing? What do they see? Because we as fans have an idea of what we want, but obviously we've been in this game long enough to know that what we want doesn't always transfer to what they want. So at this time, I got to tell you, man, I can't even think about that, Ted. I'm just, like you said, we were 4 quarters removed from going to the Super Bowl. And
Crazy.
Here we are. I think what's going to happen
wins.
I think what's going to happen is this is going to play out similar to the Ron Rivera era. For everybody that's talking about DQ being on the hot seat, I don't believe DQ's on the hot seat. It's when Ron Rivera had all those injuries, and we all remember that. We survived the Ron Rivera era. He went back to them and basically said, you guys can't fire me because of the injuries that we had. If I had a healthy squad, I would have been better. They kept him. This is going to be the same thing for DQ. He's going to go to them and say, you guys see it. What could I, my hands are tied. Give me a healthy year, and then let's revisit this. Even if they're even looking at it, which I don't believe that they are.
No, I don't think they are. Right. But to me personally, Adam Peters himself, I'm questioning a little bit. Right. I still trust him in his moves, but he's got to have a good offseason. Right. And we saw Johnny Newton have 3 sacks, the other day against the Cowboys. We saw Ben Sennett have a couple of catches. Right. And we've seen Jalen Lane produce. Right. When Luke was in there, he was doing well. But some of his free agent pickups have not panned out. Right. So I need to see Peters do a little bit more from that standpoint.
Okay, when we were still in it to some degree in Dallas, what did Johnny Newton do? And I know you don't have those stats available, but there's a reason why I'm posing this question. I like to know what Johnny Newton did when we were, truthfully, still had something to play for when we played Dallas.
Well, he probably didn't get a ton of snaps. Most likely, that's my guess. The only reason he got snaps this past week was because Duron was hurt. And you and I talked about it. Right? Duron's probably not going to play against the Eagles. So that's another chance for Johnny to do it against an actual good offense. I mean, his weekly PFF grade then was a 58.
Okay. where I'm going with that is this. Dallas had nothing to play for. There was no true, don't get me wrong. My biggest thing that I always try to get across to you and our listeners are that no matter what, those guys are human and they had nothing to play for. Johnny, on the other hand, he has something to play for because he could be out the door. Everybody's saying that he hasn't lived up to what he was pegged to be. Well, Dallas is out of it. They were. So I think that there was a little less effort. And yeah, they're the Cowboys and they got a potent offense, but bro, I just saw some things that made me just say, okay, Dallas didn't play to their potential. They really didn't. If we want to say something, they didn't play to their potential because they were out of it. But
I think some guys didn't. I think Dak did. I think Turpin did. I don't think CD did. I don't think Pickens did. I think I saw those guys making business decisions. I saw those guys not jumping for balls. I saw those guys not reaching for balls because they didn't want to get hit. Some guys definitely did not play up to their potential. I mean, Dak is playing in week 18, right? The fact that Dak is starting the last game of the season when they literally have nothing to play for other than he doesn't want to have a losing record to end the year. So that's why he's playing. But I do agree with you. But the big thing about Johnny is all anyone is focused on is his sacks. He got pretty much the worst run defensive grade for a defensive lineman that game, right? And that to me it's more than just being able to sack the quarterback, right? You've got to actually stop the run as well. And he didn't do that, right? So he is the reason why people passed on him on the draft because he was supposed to go higher was he is a undersized defensive lineman. Mm-hmm. And the reason why he hasn't gotten snaps over Duran is Duran just a bigger boy. But the fact that Kinlaw, who they brought in here as a free agent, has 0 sacks and has played a hell of a lot more snaps than Johnny, and Johnny has 3 sacks. So, that to me goes back to the bringing in some of these free agents that have not panned out to a degree. And, Kinlaw has been there. He's been healthy. He has not missed games. So that's the only reason why I'm saying, not that I don't trust Peters, I just want to see more out of him because he is the one buying the ingredients and DQ is the one cooking the meal. And some of these ingredients, some are on the discount shelf.
And we're the ones who have to eat it and it doesn't taste good.
No.
So, do you go to a different restaurant? What do you do? But I'm with you. We were happy that he came on board because we saw what his resume brought to the table. And we are trying to hold on because so many years we've been so just mediocre to where we always said, now we see the adults are in the room. We've said that continuously. And last year with us having a winning record, we say, we see what the adults in the room are finally able to do. But now we have a turn of the bad, if you will, and now we're questioning it. And so we shouldn't do that. Even though I understand why we're doing it, we shouldn't do it. We gotta keep our nose down to the grind and keep rolling and roll with them. Because if he hits and we don't have the injuries next year, then we'll be right back praising him again. So I say right now, as hard as it may be, curtail the thoughts on judging him for right now. Next year, we'll be like Philly fans and we'll be booing the hell out of everybody, because we basically are giving everybody a pass because of these injuries.
Yeah, I mean,
we have to.
They bought themselves some time, right?
Yes.
Going to the NFC Championship game, you bought yourself some time, right? So they're good, but if they have a repeat in 2026, injuries be damned, like they've had in 2025, then all bets are off.
It's gonna be some furniture moving, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I only bring that up because I see people on your Rally Captain page. I see people on Instagram, on Twitter talking about Drake Maye, talking about Caleb, right? And this was a debate a couple weeks ago because there was some different shows talking about doing a redraft and where Jayden would go in that redraft. And I already know what you're going to say, but Drake Maye right now is leading the MVP debate. So if you want to,
of course he is.
Yeah, if you want to put money down on the kid, but the thing is, I don't think a lot of our listeners understand how easy this young man has had it, and they've only played one team with a winning record. So it goes back to, reminds me of our season last year, where you can only play who's on your schedule.
Yep.
Right. And the MVP comes out before the playoffs start. So that is solidified way before the playoffs. We all saw what Jayden did during the playoffs, and he beat teams with a winning record, taking out Tampa, taking out Detroit. Right.
Yeah.
And to me, to want to redo the draft, and fans are saying that Peters is going to regret passing on Drake Maye, seeing what he's doing now, right? I think that's hindsight, right? I don't regret it. To me, it is way too early to say which quarterback is better than the other quarterbacks. And they're all forever going to be compared to each other.
You put Drake Maye on this same squad that we had this year, and the results will be the same. Point blank, period. Yeah. How many times when we were the Skins did people say, oh, if we had a Peyton Manning, and I say bullish. If we had Peyton Manning would be sacked as well because we had no offensive line. Do you remember those talks back in the day when people would always try to compare? Well, if we had Tom Brady, and people were like, no, Tom wouldn't be able to stand up because the line was terrible. It was porous. So that talk is ish to me. It really is. So do we need a lot of work? Yes, we do. But that whole talk as far as Drake Maye, man, no. I guarantee. How about this? Okay. Flip-flop. If Jayden was on the Patriots, I'm sure he'd be doing the exact same thing or even more if he was on the Patriots. And Maye probably would not be doing what he was doing here if he was with us. So come on, guys. I understand what you're trying to do, but simmer down, straight up. You know, I hate that type of talk.
Oh, I'm right there with you. Actually, I chimed in, and I've been off of social media for maybe a week and some change, but it drove me crazy. And I chimed in on your Rally Captain page when someone posted, right, Drake Maye, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. It's like the Patriots have had the 30th toughest schedule, right? The third
3-0.
easiest schedule. Yeah. So, I mean, let's see what they do next year, like we had to do this year when they face a lot tougher schedule, right? Let's see what happens. And who would have thought that the year that the Patriots possibly are going to get the number 1 seed, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are gone, right? There's so many things that have changed, and that's what the NFL is about. It's about being able to go from worst to first constantly. The Patriots have 2 Pro Bowl players on their roster, right? Drake Maye and Christian Gonzalez. It's not like they've got this stud team. And I understand the Pro Bowl is more of a fan vote than anything. But to me, it still shows you how many players on that team would potentially start on other teams, right? And I think it's a little bit of a barometer from that side of things. So before people start going and saying, I wish we would have taken Drake over Jayden, I think it's foolish, because you guys go back and watch the highlights from last year. Go back and watch what that young man did. But I do think part of the problem is we just need more than him, right? We need more than 5 on the field or 5 and 17. We need a real, and don't get me wrong, Bill had 2 nice touchdowns, but we need a more dominant running back that can do more than just run the football. I need someone that can actually catch and use his hands. I need someone that doesn't make the offense one-dimensional, because when Bill's in there, he's not in there to pass block for the most part. He's not in there to catch the ball on a screen or anything else. He's in there to run the ball. And guess what? That lets the defense know, all right, we're coming, right? They probably audible to a run blitz or fill some gaps and this and that. And he burned them a couple times. But for the most part, he's a 7th round kid that's done a great job with the time he's had. But this offseason, I want a different running back. I want a better
You're ready
running
to
back.
move on.
It's not move on. You need to have a couple of running backs on your roster.
Dynamic. Right? Yeah. You need a dynamic running back. You need a power running back.
And I wanted to see Chris Rodriguez do that against the Cowboys. And I feel so bad for that young man. He was named team captain. He was supposed to start that game. He got the flu. So imagine how sick he must have been. He had his whole family there for the game. Imagine how sick he must have been to miss his opportunity. And kudos to Bill, because I'm sure he didn't get as many reps as C-Rod did during practice, and he took advantage of it. But I need a more consistent bruiser that's going to be able to get those tough yards. And I don't see that out of Bill. I need someone that can be that pass catching threat. And it's nice that McNichols comes in and can do that, but I love a guy that can do both, right?
So Bill can't catch the ball?
He's had less than a dozen catches this season. Not saying he can't, but he hasn't had any.
I don't really remember seeing them throwing the ball though. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and it's been a long season, so a lot of things didn't go our way. So maybe I'm missing it, but I didn't think that they threw the ball to him that much.
And that's
to where
they don't, right? So there's got to be a reason why they're not throwing the ball. Austin Eckler caught the ball and ran the ball a ton. Brian Robinson, before we traded him, would catch the ball out the backfield. They always said he's got good hands, and they don't use him like that. So maybe that's something that Bill needs to invest in a jugs machine, or someone can get him one and he can practice on catching the ball, because it's obvious it's something that they don't use in his game for whatever reason and take advantage of. Probably because it's not a strength in his game.
Okay. Yeah, because I can't say I've ever really seen him throw the ball to him, and I can't say I've seen him catch the ball, even though I know they probably have. It's like I said, it's been a long season, and right now it's in a blur. And I just want to get over this 4 p.m. kick in the Eagles. I really do, man.
He's got 9 catches. He's got 9 catches this season, right? The entire season.
How many attempts?
I don't know how many times he was targeted. Let's see.
Okay. See, the thing is, that tells me that he can catch the ball.
9 times?
To him.
I can catch the ball 9 times if you throw it to me, right?
Hey, brother.
Out of how many? He was targeted 13 times. Okay. 13 throws to him. He caught 9 of them, right? But that to me is, he should be more of a receiving threat if he can actually catch. I just don't think that Kingsbury and the coaches have seen that in practice out of him. So they're just not calling the play.
Who have they thrown the ball out of the backfield to the most?
McNichols.
And so, okay.
McNichols and Deebo. It's not really in the backfield, but the line of scrimmage, Deebo. But yeah.
I bet they could probably line that young man up and throw him the ball and he'd catch it.
If he's not doing it now in week 17, it's not like they don't practice these things. So I want to see him step up, like for him to be a true number 1 back. Right. And I don't.
Let me find out he's got butterfingers in practice.
Well, I mean, he did fumble the ball a couple of times with those butterfingers, and that.
Yeah, but that's not throwing the ball out of the backfield, though. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Fumble Rooski, fumble lie. He did do that. He put the ball on the carpet. But to what you're saying, to make him more versatile, try to give him the ball out of the backfield. This is how I look at it. You got an open canvas this last game to do whatever you want to do. We can't go up and we can't go down. We are right there. So show me something. Show me something. And that's what I want to see. And that's something that, because I really didn't realize that much, like you said, Ted, that they didn't get him the ball out of the backfield. But I'm sure he caught the ball in college. He had to.
I knew you were going to say that. Guess how many times?
How many times?
7.
His whole college career.
His whole college career. 7 catches for 72 yards. 1 was a touchdown.
Man. I need more to go on. I need more to go on.
I'm just saying, it's like Jayden needs to stop being Superman 24/7.
Yes,
If we can
agreed.
get some other guys to be, let's get the Justice League around him, right? Let's get Aquaman there. Let's get Batman there, right? Terry's probably, whoever the hell you want to pick out of that group, right? We need someone to be the Flash, right? I need someone to be that guy so Jayden's not putting it all on him, because the young man is a fighter and does not want to lose, and has not learned that sometimes it's okay to give up on a play. Sometimes it's okay to throw the ball away and just not go balls to the wall every time. And honestly, it was a matter of time before Mariota got hurt, because we saw him run so many times when plays got blown up. I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay. Hopefully Marcus doesn't go down, but we'll get to see Hartman. And Hartman's not playing. And this is actually DQ talking about who's going to play this week if it can't be Marcus.
Hey Dan, if Marcus can't go on Sunday, how do you see the quarterback situation playing out?
Yeah, we'd lean and start with Josh again, Scott. And then as far as behind him, we'll just still discuss that between Sam and with Jeff. But if Marcus couldn't, then we'd lean in with Josh again. And there was honestly a lot that I liked in the game. I know it was a short week, but the preparation of what and how we featured him, I thought was the right space. And, like from a decision-making process, I thought, Josh did a lot of things correct that I liked. So we would lean in that way again for sure if Marcus can't.
And I'm good with that. I want to see what Josh can do. He's actually older than Marcus. You said, someone younger before, but I want to see what Josh can do against an Eagles team that is still playing for something. I want to see what Johnny Newton can do against an Eagles team that is still playing for something.
Let me ask you this: Would you rather have Jameis Winston or Josh Johnson?
I think I'd rather have Jameis, because we could serve crab legs at the tailgate. Right? I mean, and so have you watched Hard Knocks yet?
Is there a new one out?
No, the new one comes out tonight. But are you all caught up?
I'm caught up. I'm caught up, yes.
So part of me, I've been watching it with Mrs. Tailgate. Part of me doesn't want to do it anymore, because you know how good they are. Like, she's starting to like the Cowboys. Like when they were doing Turpentine.
Who started like the Cowboys?
Certain players on the team, right? Cavante Turpin, how they were hyping him up. Mrs. Tailgate.
What?
Yeah. Right. And then the whole, I can't remember whoever the Samoan guy is for the Eagles that was doing the Christmas stuff and singing and being nice with the kids, like those feel-good stories behind the scenes, like off of the football field. It's like, I don't think I want you watching this anymore, because it's their job to make these people look good, and the team gets final say on what is allowed to be shown and what's not allowed to be shown. So they're not going to show someone being a complete ass. They're not going to show someone, who was it? Diggs just got charged with, I think, strangling his
assault.
Basically strangling and assaulting his assistant or someone that works for him, right? Let's just say if they're on Hard Knocks, they're not going to let Hard Knocks show that or put that on there or do that stuff. But it's been kind of nice to see some of the behind the scenes, but also a little bit frustrating, because our behind the scenes, it ain't really there. And you saw Jameis, he's kind of a jokester. Right. Yeah. To me, I could see Jameis booking dinners for the team and being the vibes guy that Sam Hartman is. The only problem is Jameis is going to require a hell of a lot more money than Hartman does. And it was nice that Hartman went to the Ronald McDonald House and did stuff there for the kids and the families. I used to cook there a couple of times a year. But the fact of the matter is, he is still last on the depth chart. And we're not going to see him. Like, why is he here? Like, let me see Hartman and let me see Driscoll. Because odds are, I hate to say it, we're not going to win this game, right? And you put it on Twitter and on X, everything else, on Instagram, why is the game not 1:00? For those that don't know, the Eagles are playing for the 2 seed. The 2 seed means they could potentially host an NFC Championship game, all right? So they're going to play as probably not all their starters, but as many of their starters as they possibly can. So they do have something to play for. They're fighting with the Bears for that number 2 seed. And I don't know who the Bears opponent is. I got to pull that up, but.
Well, I posted that. I knew that that's what they were playing for. I posted that because I wanted it to be a 1:00 game. It just helps. it's a selfish thing. It helps me get up there and get back down, back home, before it's too late. And now this just puts me back home roughly 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
You know
some
what I
people just
mean?
don't know, right? They
Yeah,
just see
yeah.
like the post or what's going on. Like you literally had alerts from the sports junkies not realizing that the Eagles are playing for the 2 seed. All day yesterday, he was talking about like, oh, why are they going to start their starters? Like they're playing for the 2 seed. Like I want to text alerts and say this is why they're going to do it, right? And the Bears are playing the Lions. The Lions, they got humiliated. They're done. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know who has the tiebreaker, but believe it or not, the worst we can pick this draft is 7th. Guess what the highest we can pick is?
3.
It's actually 2.
Oh,
A lot has to happen, but the highest we can actually pick is 2. And this was per a tweet from Grant Paulson, right? Because it falls down to strength of schedule. Because our schedule was tougher than those other teams. Let's just say these other teams get some wins and we're all tied at 4. Our strength of schedule is tougher. So it goes to that, right? And the Giants actually played themselves out of the number
out.
1 pick
Yeah.
the other day.
Yeah.
So technically, if the Giants win, even though we have beat the Giants twice, it goes to strength of schedule first. So our strength of schedule is worse or harder than theirs was.
Harder. Yeah.
So
Interesting. And very interesting. So, okay, let's just play this thing out. We get the number 2 pick. Who do you pick? Do you pick offense or defense?
assuming we're not trading out, all right, assuming that we're staying there, I go defense. I need a defensive lineman that puts just the fear of God in coordinators.
A dog. You need a dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
All
don't have that. I mean, who do you go with position wise?
See, I think you got to have some hunters. So linebacker, somebody, but you got to have somebody that can hunt. I believe you can get receivers a dime a dozen, but you got to have somebody who can hunt that ball down. So, like you said, who's a dog, and the cat from Philadelphia who came from Georgia, who had the speeding issue or reckless driving or whatever have you. That guy's a dog. You need somebody like him. He's a game changer. I can't think of his name, but you know who I'm talking about. He came from Georgia. Plays for the Eagles, defensive tackle. That guy's
I'll pull it up here.
He's a beast. But while you're pulling that up, I gotta ask you a question. What was Netflix doing walking around at all the tailgates and everything and interviewing everyone? Have you seen that footage yet?
Yeah, so Netflix owned the rights for the Christmas games, other than the last game that night. So Netflix was the broadcaster for our game and the broadcaster for the Lions game, right? So they did a pregame show with their guy in the lot, and that Bert guy, who I have no idea who he is, I'm sure he's a funny dude. I think he's got a show coming up on Netflix, like some comedy show. And Anthony Anderson were going through the tailgate lots, just like how Jason Kelsey and those guys go through the lots for their coverage. And I know you're at all the games, so you don't really get a chance to see it for the most part, but they were just going through and hanging out and doing that. And the red zone lot is the busiest lot around the stadium because it's got the bigger spaces and everything else. And they promote it as the tailgate lot, which is another reason why opposing teams always buy passes in that lot, which kind of sucks. But yeah, they never came by ours just because ours would have been a little depressing to come put on Netflix.
Yeah, I was there basically, and the cameras, I guess, shot me, if you will, but I didn't see anything. I didn't hear about it. No one said anything. Normally, when there's a camera involved and someone sees you on TV, they tag you in something. So I was just wondering had they aired it, but obviously they did because it was for the
it was pregame
kickoff. Yeah, pregame kickoff.
It was live. So I think a lot of people might have been watching the local coverage since you don't have to have Netflix to catch us.
If you don't want to pay for it, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I have Netflix, right? So I'm sure people have it, but to have to flip back and forth, like I hate watching the Thursday night game. I always forget it's on Prime because then if I want to
Hmm.
flip to another channel, I got to switch out of Prime to just
Got
go
to get.
back to that. And I sound like an old man, but it's a pain in the ass, right? I go to channel 5, like Fox, I go to CBS, right? It was
Yeah, the
nice. It was,
locals.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did you watch any football on Sunday since we didn't even play?
Did I watch football on Sunday? Uh, yeah, I did watch some football on Sunday. I watched a little bit, but I had to be up for work on Monday, so I didn't watch as much as I would have liked to have.
Yeah, I caught the Eagles and the Bills game because I really wanted the Bills to win. I'm a huge Josh Allen fan or anyone that's playing the Eagles fan at this point.
Hmm.
So, but it was nice sitting there and just getting kind of a chance to enjoy it. I'm glad I didn't have to go back and forth to an app to have to pull it up. But yeah, that was I saw some footage. I'm glad the guys from the command quarter got featured on that. Like Chuck
Oh,
and the guys
nice.
over there do a good
Yeah.
job. So it was fun. But going back to your question, I mean, the Cowboys ran 87 plays on offense. They actually called 90 plus plays, but a couple of them didn't run because of, you know, dead ball fouls before the ball got snapped. But 87 plays on offense they ran. You get a stud defensive lineman, then hopefully they get a chance to shut that down. And I know fans are going to say we had, Chase Young here, we had, John Allen here, we had, Montez Sweat here. I get it. Those guys didn't pan out, but you can't sit there and harp on that. We are obviously missing the right pieces of this puzzle right now. And I think
Hmm.
it was funny. Danny was talking about how the 49ers were upset because they lost they lost Nick Bosa for a little bit, right? And he hasn't been around. We're complaining because we lost Dietrich Wise, right? Dietrich Wise would not be a starter on any of these playoff teams that are in the hunt right now. But yet we're upset because he missed a bunch of games for us, right? That is the lack of talent that we have on our team.
Yeah. And it sucks, but you can only do what you got, work with what you got. And so here we are. And once again, it goes back to what you said. How will Adam handle this? And I know that they're behind closed doors crunching. I know they are, and their scouting team and everybody who's involved with recruiting is concerned. And player development. I know that they're saying we got to do better, you know, before they go to Cancun next week. I know they are. So once again, I don't get paid. You don't get paid to do it. So we got to just sit back and let them figure it out. But man, like you said, a true dog. So a defensive end or defensive tackle
I want an
or
end.
line
I
or
want a true
linebacker.
defensive end that can make a difference and get in there. From a linebacker perspective, right? I got my boy Rafiq texted me randomly, zero context, and just sent me some name. I'm thinking, what the hell is this about? And I guess the dude's a stud linebacker from Ohio State, Arvell Reese. I'm like, I
Okay.
don't watch college football. So I'm thinking, who the hell is Arvell Reese? That's all he said. He sent this to me yesterday at 9:48 in the morning. And I didn't reply to him until today because I didn't see it. He said he's a first round option for Ohio State. I'm like, I don't even care about that right now. I just know player wise what I want. Now, if we have the second pick in the draft, my ass wants to trade back into the first round, like farther back, and then get more picks. Because if we get to pick that high, best be sure someone's going to want to come up. If we're the seventh pick, I don't know if we get as many chances to trade that thing back or even get a good shot at getting something else. But rehashing the injury thing, Nick Bosa missed 14 games this year, right? Brock Purdy missed 8 games. George Kittle missed 6 games. Fred Warner missed 11 games, right? These are all studs on offense for their team. These are all Pro Bowl players, all pros. And guess what the 49ers record is, right? I mean, definitely ain't 4-12. right? They're 12-4.
Well, but here's the thing also. The 49ers have had an institution of great picks from way back in the day to where they didn't just have a blank canvas, if you will. They have always had great picks, and so we're just in our second season. So with that being said, how much time are our fans going to give us? Because realistically, San Francisco has had time to manipulate that schedule. They've had their player personnel. They've had time. So I know people don't want to hear, well, it shouldn't take us 5 years, but to what you're trying to do, it's going to take 2 years, 3 years to be able to invest in those players to have those great backup moments. So it's not like it's going to happen overnight. So it may not seem like it's going to hit now, but you're looking for the future. So maybe there's a shining star that's on the roster right now who they're grooming. I don't know, but I just believe that it's not going to happen in year 2, and we're in year 2. We're going into year 3, and yes, they've got a lot to clean up, lot to clean up, and we know that. But we got to give it time, and I know we don't want to hear that. I actually hate. It's a love-hate thing, and you'll appreciate what I'm about to say. I hate that we went to the championship last year.
I was just thinking that, man.
I hate that honestly, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that we went to the championship last year because it gave everybody these expectations, and it was luck. We got to call it what it was. We had basically, if we were playing blackjack and you had 18, and you said, hit me again. And then everybody's saying, no. But all of a sudden, they roll that 3 out and you got 21 and you did it again. Can you imagine that? Yeah. Let's just put that in context. You're playing blackjack, right? Look how many times we won. That means those improbable odds we hit on, and everybody at the table saying, no, don't take another hit. And you're like, hit me. And all of a sudden, bam, blackjack. So that's what it was like. And so we went back to the blackjack table and we bust all these games. And you're like, well, wait a minute. When I played last time, I won. So here we are now. If we want to put it in context of or the card aspect of things, we need to reshuffle. Give me a new deck. I need a new deck. So we're getting a brand new deck, and we're going to see how these cards unfold.
And I've been thinking about that, right? Last year was so much fun.
Yes.
And I am glad that I'm glad that it happened, because there were so many younger ones in this fan base that have never seen us win before. Mm-hmm. Right? And being in Spain for the game, right? I asked those guys out there and girls out there that I met, like one of our fans from Dublin that listens to the show and another one from Scotland, like, out of all of the NFL teams, why did you decide to root for us? Like, you can easily switch to be a Chiefs fan or be a Niners fan or be like another team that has not been a perennial just underdog loser, right? I'll judge you if you're going to be an Eagles fan, but you could easily choose one of those other teams that you can actually watch in the playoffs and play in the Super Bowl. But yet you chose to be a fan of the burgundy and gold. And for those fans, I am happy for them that last year happened. You and I are going to be here, whether we are, 1-17 or 17-1. Doesn't matter, right? We're ride or die. But there are some that needed last year to happen, especially with the ownership change, especially with the name change. And if that did not happen, I don't know if there are as many people that are on this bandwagon still this day with us, even though this season has been so bad. Right? I don't know if there are as many people excited about RFK 2.0 if last season never happened. So I never want to take that away or act like it wasn't a thing. There are some out there that are wondering, was last season the outlier for 5? Or can he actually repeat that and do that again? And to me, time will tell. What I think a lot of people aren't talking about, because it's not a fun conversation to have, is we are still paying for the sins of Ron Rivera, the GM, right? The fact that none of our first round picks who are supposed to be starters on your team are even on this roster, right? That's a huge problem. It's a huge hole that Adam Peters has to fill in. And let's just say Jayden can mask losing 2 of those first round picks, but losing all 4 of those first round picks to not be on your roster, that's a lot for one player to have to hide. This isn't basketball where one guy can take over the entire thing, right? I'd say the NFL is the ultimate team sport. Hockey, a goalie can immediately dominate a hockey game or a hockey series and win that thing himself, right? Basketball, we've all seen what one player can do there. Baseball, we can see what a pitcher can do to just shut down an entire team. Look at what freaking Shohei did, right? Football is the ultimate team sport. There is nothing like it. And you've got to have a couple of studs. And unfortunately, we missed one of our studs for a majority of the season with Jayden and also with Terry. And on defense, give me a stud on defense that would start for a different team. That would start for, let's just say, the Eagles. I can't think of one.
The stud is the cat who I was telling you about, who came from Georgia.
No, from our team. Who from our team on defense would play on the Eagles defense, would start on the Eagles defense? I don't expect you to know their roster front and back, but to me,
maybe
the fact
maybe Payne.
Yeah, I don't even think he would, man. I don't think Duran would start over who they have on their team, right? And that to me is the problem, right? Our defense does not have an identity. Everyone knows Bobby Wagner because he's Father Time, and he is so close to, being there and breaking London Fletcher's record for most tackles, which is great, but it doesn't move us in the right direction. Freaking Quan Martin got benched, basically, because of the Turpin play. He got
blown
sat
coverage.
down. Yeah, right? And Sanders still took a little bit of a step back because he's playing a completely different position than he played last year. But on defense, we don't have an identity. And that's something we need to really focus on this offseason, whether it's in the draft or whether it's in free agency. And that to me is also why if Johnson or Driscoll can do something against a Philly team that has something to play for this week, then save the $10 million. Thank you, Marcus Mariota. I appreciate the time you put in, but you only having one win for me this season, that ain't going to cut it.
And we know that the NFL is a cutthroat organization. We do know that. And as I said earlier, I don't think that there's going to be someone knocking on the door to make him a starter. I don't see it. So if you're trying to, basically what you said, we'll see what happens during this game, who plays the best, and we may have seen, well, this will be a lot of people's last game with us, with the burgundy and gold. I mean, that's just how it's going to be. Time will tell, bro.
Yeah, it's going to be their guys playing for contracts. Right? Sam Cosme was on with congrats to Sam and his wife for having their baby boy. He was born on the 26th. So I think she went to labor on the 25th and then came out the 26th. So, I'm happy for them. But there are a lot of guys who say that they're playing for contracts, right? They're playing to put up tape for the next coaching staff that comes in, like the next defensive coordinator who is not married to this system and showing what he can do truly given the chance, right? And I'm looking at a list of 30 NFL quarterbacks. I mean, Cam Ward in Tennessee, you can't tell me Mariota wouldn't do a better job than him, right? Looking here, who the hell's the Raiders quarterback, right? It's just, I do think Marcus would have a potential chance someplace else if he wants to. Jacoby Brissett in Arizona, I mean, they still got Kyler, so it is what it is. But I don't know. To me, I'm not breaking the bank to sign him as your number 2. And this week, what I'm watching for is that clock to strike 000, because that means this nightmare of a season has ended. But right, I want to see another Burks sighting, right? And please God, like, don't make it so it's Burks throwing a pass. Because did you see Kingsbury call another Wildcat play with Burks back there and it looked like he was going to throw the damn ball? It's just like, I'm so done with some of these stupid play calls. It drives me insane. And I'm hoping DQ starts holding this guy accountable for some of the just idiotic things he's doing.
So, question. We know that Witt was relieved of his duties. Is he still on the roster?
Oh, yeah.
Is he on the squad?
He's still there.
Do you think he'll
he was relieved of play calling.
Do you think he'll be there after this season?
No, I can't see that happening. They're not going to. Coaching contracts are guaranteed, so he is going to get paid, right? I don't think they're going to demote him at that point, or he would take the demotion. But there have been rumors, and Mark Bullock put this out there, that Dan Quinn tried to hire, and I want to say it was Al Harris from the Cowboys at one point, and tried to bring him over, but the Cowboys blocked it and wouldn't let him come over. So he has a chance to now. NFL teams, if it's a lateral move, can block you requesting that interview. If it is a move that's vertical, meaning they're going to get a promotion, it cannot be blocked.
Right, they can't block you.
So, chance he comes here. Don't know what the role is going to be or what's going on, but I cannot see DQ wanting to call defensive plays again and doing that, because it's a lot on his plate. And I cannot see Witt being there. And I feel that there's some in the fan base that want to hold on to coordinators too long. Like, I remember when people didn't want Norv Turner to go for the longest time. And, was it Scott, his son, when he was here, right? And I am okay if they do decide to move away from Kingsbury, because Kingsbury gets a job someplace else. Because, yes, it is the same person that called those plays last year. But one of my buddies, Burrows, Brian, likes to bring up year 3 in a Kingsbury offense, not even year 3, year 2, defenses somewhat figure out what he's trying to do. And is this just a case of lack of talent because he hasn't had the weapons out there? But really, the only person the offense missed was Terry. And, okay, yes, Jayden to a degree, but when Jayden was out there, he still didn't light the world on fire.
I was wondering if Cliff would be here, do you bring in someone different concepts, different ideas, different work ethic? We basically, Ted, have a blank canvas. You've got some art that's there, but we've got a blank canvas almost to do whatever we want to do. And it's going to be interesting to see the first coach to get fired or replaced, shall I say, because we know it's going to happen. And the fans, just be prepared that the people who you may like may not be there, and the people that you don't like may be there. So just be prepared.
And that's a thing that I feel like fantasy football somewhat changed the way people fan, right? We're not here to police the way people fan or this and that, but I'm just saying sometimes people care more about the name on the back of the jersey than the one on the front, right? And to me, I stopped buying players' jerseys because I got tired of wasting money, right? I think it was a segment on B. Mitch and Finley, like the most random piece of memorabilia you have that nobody would want, right? I have a autographed Case Keenum jersey when he was on the Redskins, right? And the team gave that to me one day, and I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, yay, thank you. Like, I haven't gotten rid of it just because it's signed. Am I ever going to frame it or put it anywhere? No, right? I don't know what I'm still doing with the damn thing, right? And it's not even a nice one. It's a screen print Case Keenum jersey. So yeah, it's like I should just donate it and get like a McChicken or something from McDonald's. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I think you're right. There are going to be people here that you're kind of wondering. But to me, the burgundy and gold is who I root for, right? The players on the back, the names change on the back. It's still always going to be Washington on the front for me, or Commanders, or whatever for other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I always say players come and go, coaches come and go, and yes, even owners come and go. But the fans, for the most part, stay the same. So it's going to be very interesting. And regardless of all that, we got one more game to play. We got one more game to play, brother, against those that gang green. We've got one more game to play. And I hope that they, once again, they pull out all the stops to beat these guys. Because if we win, do we go up in the ratings? Or no matter what,
we get seventh no matter what.
No matter what. So go ahead.
We have seventh no matter what.
Ball out. Show me something. Go out going hard. Don't go out making business decisions, because we know that's how you get hurt. So go out here and just light it up to the best of your ability.
Yeah. I mean, if we could, the Eagles need to win and the Bears need to lose for them to get the 2 seed. The Bears are playing the Lions, so odds are, right, they're not going to lose that game. It's at Soldier Field. I just have a feeling the Bears are going to win. So if we could go, and luckily the games are being played at the exact same time. I'm sure they're going to be scoreboard watching, and the coach is going to be scoreboard watching. If it's a blowout, they're not going to risk having the guys out there. Let's just say it's a close game. If we could beat a true Eagles team that is playing for something, we could carry that momentum into next season, right? And I will say that the way last season ended, 55-23 against them, that negative momentum affected us this year. We had a bunch of questions. So to get some positive momentum going into the new year, to me, would be a great thing. The players are going to be different next season on this roster. There's going to be a lot of turnover, a lot of change, a lot of guys on one-year deals, a lot of guys are just not going to pay. I don't think we see Deebo back next year. Right? I think it's tying up almost $60 million at the wide receiver position is a lot of money to give up, because that's what Deebo is going to demand between him and Terry. Right? So, but to carry some kind of positive momentum into next year, I think to me would be a good thing.
Yeah, I see them going younger than Deebo. And he didn't want to take a picture with me anyway in California. So, good riddance, Deebo. Yeah, he did. Once she gave the guilt trip, she laid down on him. But no, I obviously I want players to stay. But when it comes down to dollars and cents, we talk about business decisions. We've got a lot of pieces that need to be solidified. And if you're costing me too much money, I'm afraid I've got to let you go. I can't do it, because the juice really wasn't worth the squeeze. He really didn't. He played well, but he just didn't light it up like everybody thought that he was going to light up. And everybody was saying, oh, you guys got the fat Deebo, or you guys got this Deebo, or you got that Deebo. And so, but we were like, nah, he looks good, which for the most part, he did look good, but he wasn't that spark. He didn't light it up like we thought he would.
Yeah, he wasn't that game changer, right? And maybe because he didn't have a true number one beside him, right? To me, I am not paying a number 2 receiver $30+ million. And to me, Deebo is a number 2. He is not a number 1. And that I can't invest. It's not my money. We say that all the time. But to me, there are other things we need to give that money to a stud defensive player, right? A nice linebacker. Because if Jordan McGee is not the heir apparent and he still needs more time to inherit that throne from Bobby, then give me someone else. Pick up another linebacker that can fill in those spots. But we have way too long an offseason to talk about that. There are some wondering, is there a rally this weekend?
There will not be a rally this weekend. And that's all I want to say about that.
I hear you. And I get it, right? Knowing that the game was at 425, knowing that it's up there, it actually just gives people more time to get up there later on in the day versus getting up there earlier. So I do know there's some people that are probably happy about that. But for those of you going up there, I'm not saying do what I do and pretend you don't speak English. All I'm saying is be safe, have a good time, and I can't wait to catch you guys down the road.
I will see you guys there. Who's ever going, I will see you there. And hey, burgundy and gold till they were dead and cold. Forget that gangrene. So let's get it. And I hear Auld Lang Syne being played. You guys have a great, great, great New Year's. And thank you once again to everyone that voted for me for Fan of the Year. I keep telling you that we are still in the running for the Ultimate Fan of the Year, and the DMV has never won that award. So it'll be great to bring the Ultimate Fan back to the DMV. So please continue to keep voting for me. I greatly appreciate it. And let's win this thing for the DMV, and let's win Sunday so we can carry that into 2026. Remember, you rep it hard. You don't rep it at all. Tailgate Ted, Rally Captain. We'll see you on the other side of 26.